klassenfoto. Leuk voor later. Maar een intrigerende samenkomst. Kun je die eigenlijk afdwingen? We probeerden de goden een handje te helpen. Na binnenkomst in Galerie de Zaaien aan de Keizersgracht, ooit een schuilkerk, waar de samenkomst zou plaatsvinden, zou een ensemble de 20 opwachten. Roger Scruton, de filosoof, zou de herkenningsmelodie spelen. U hoort hem al. Catherine Bott, de sopraan, zou de herkenningsmelodie zingen, waarvoor de woorden door Scruton waren geschreven. Er was niemand die niet in de stemming leek. En toen gingen ze naar de driehoek. Maar wat gebeurt er eigenlijk als je 20 mensen rond een tafel zet? Wie zullen proberen de discussie te claimen? Wie worden geïrriteerd? Wie zijn de verzoeners? Er zijn altijd een paar die er het zwijgen toe doen. Maar wie zou dat zijn? Zonder humor en zelfspot is dit leven ondraaglijk. Woorden van de natuurkundige Leon Lederman. Humor. Zelfspot. Hoeveel zou daarvan zo direct terug te vinden zijn? Er waren geen afspraken. Op die ene na dat er niet zou worden gerookt. De kwestie die op tafel lag, het was eigenlijk de enige, was de meest eenvoudige, de meest voor de hand liggende. Er leek niks bijzonders aan.
I would say my life to me is worth living because you never know every day when you wake up what's going to happen, what you're going to learn, who you're going to meet, how networks that you build up during your life may suddenly click into place. And I just find that even in difficult times, life is exciting and the lives of people around me are exciting, and we do have a choice. We could end it. We don't have to live.
If we were of opinion that it's not worth living, we would just commit suicide, each one.
I say it is worth living for 3 reasons. First, family. Second, friends. Third, work, in that order.
I think that, obviously, to get a general theory of what makes life worthwhile is very hard, and each individual person must have something different to say about this. But I found life worth living since I've been able to so regulate it that I know exactly what's going to happen each day, and I wake up and I know exactly who I'm going to see. There are no surprises, nothing exciting, nothing out of the ordinary, everything harmonious, rhythmical, between getting out of bed and getting in again, and not ever clear whether it's better to be out of bed or in it.
In it, I think.
That's making a huge surprise. All coming to visit at one time.
Yes. No,
Hi there.
You would not be welcome. But if
I know.
If you corresponded with me in advance, that might be useful.
Did you say that life is worth living because of friends, family, etc.? It seems to me interesting because one suffers more, I would think, through family than through any other agency. And more through friends as well. I mean, the daily reality we have to deal with is misunderstanding and treachery. Any pretense in this company that family and friends are sources of unalloyed joy, that one understands the role one plays in our relationship with them, I'd have to reject it absolutely. The more you extend your network, the more you extend your capacity for suffering. If what we're talking about is suffering, I mean, are we asking, is suffering worth doing? I would say yes, because it's better than experiencing nothing at all. You know, I hurt, therefore I am. But this is just a kind of half-witted logical positivism that I really ought to know better than to pursue, I'd have thought.
I want to add one thing to Freeman's list, which I like very well, but justice. We think about this question, and we're sitting around here asking this question, but there are so many people in the world who never get a chance to ask that question because they die before they can learn to talk. And so I think, you know, as we pursue this question, we ought to think that one of the things that makes life worthwhile is getting to eat, to work, to live even long enough to ask that question. And what can we all do to bring that about? I think Jane, too, with her work with animals, is working with creatures who are treated so brutally that they don't get a chance to enjoy life such as it is. So what can we do to produce justice for human beings and for animals? I think that's one of the things we have to talk about.
In fact, you're saying, what can we do to make life worth living for others?
Yeah.
Well, I like sex better than justice, actually, I have to say. Really. I'm surprised, actually, it doesn't really come in anyone's early list, really. It's not just sex, you know. Gardening is pretty good. It's up there with sex. Really. Can be done at the same time as sex, actually.
Isn't that rather
if you manage things as well as Roger.
Isn't that rather the problem with a discussion like this? In a way, please forgive me, I think the question is the kind that you get in magazines. Describe yourself in 3 words. We've all got varyingly rude, disgusting, hedonist, moralistic, private lists of what makes our lives worth living. Sex, yes. Gardening, no. But we're not going to say on a programme like this, are we?
Why not?
Well, I think that why did everybody hold back right at the beginning?
It's because well, justice is more important to Martha than it's the top of her list.
But also that justice is a concept that's more honoured in the breach than the observance. If you've ever had to deal with the business of dispensing justice, it seems preposterously inefficient, and the more well-developed it is, the more inefficient it is. Lawyers enjoy the process of dispensing justice. But I'm surprised that you should say sex, except, of course, that you are a man. And my perception has always been that sex is a blood sport. I know Roger has some thoughts about blood sport.
You know, Jermaine, I mean, it's true that justice is inefficient, and it's true, of course, that anything you love and care about is a source of frustration as well as joy. But I think if there's reason to hope in this world, it's partly from the progress we have made even in getting angry at things we didn't used to get angry about. I mean, I think 100 years ago, no one got angry when animals were brutally slaughtered, and no one got angry when little girls were starved before they could learn to read and so on. And now at least we get angry about those things, and we think that something ought to be done, and I think that is progress.
So we're saying the angry life is more worth living than the unangry life?
I think so, yes.
So we're not after tranquility?
Everything that goes with sex and orgasm, yes, they go with beauty. But if you're talking about just raw, naked sense, what I think Jermaine Greer referred to as blood sport, and I'm actually surprised to hear her, I thought actually you'd repudiated that idea of sex as a blood sport, pure and simple. I was rather surprised to hear you say that. I haven't been reading your latest, obviously.
I didn't say anything about pure, and I didn't say anything about simple. Mm-hmm. And I'm very interested in blood sports from lots of points of view, because I think that predation is universal in nature, as far as I can see, and there is a prey role that has its own excitements. But sex doesn't cause simply pleasure. I mean, it causes all kinds of anxiety and insecurity and rage and hostility and death. It has at least as much negative component as it does positive.
Ah, good, good. And well, I'm very glad that you concede that, because...
I mean, I just said to Simon before, you know, that we were looking at a little picture of... He said, why is there a little picture of a woman with her thighs parting and all the little squares around it are blank? And I said, because this is the one time when the man thinks he's going to get it right. And he said, delusive hope or something. What did you say?
I did, yes.
You see, so
delusion.
he's just pretending not to be intelligent at this point.
No, because I think women are just as much predators, sex-wise, as men are. I mean, there's no question at all about that, I hope. So that one cannot say it's just only one
Are you boasting
sex.
here?
It's just not, you cannot say it's just
But
one
actually,
sex,
I'd say
which is more predatory than the other. That's not my experience.
I mean, I agree, it's not...